fly out to London, then might slide out to Lisbon. Crossing borders, getting my stamps up. Travel like everybody can come. Lay low, I don't want attention. Only show what you see. Never no cap in my rap. When I rap on the track, got me feeling like I'm in the league. Ease. I'm in my element. Don't care about relevance. I'm doing me. I'm in my element. We the new delegate. Tapping and see. I'm in my element. Back in my element. 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 I'm in my This is easy as a layup. I don't show if you don't pay up. Long nights had to stay up. Putting hours while you later. I can sit around and wait up. I'm gonna have to see you later. Giving tips like a waiter. Even tell them all you fade on. I'm in my element. Back in my element. 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 I'm in my element. Don't care about relevance. I'm doing me. I'm in my element. We the new delegate. Tapping and see.
All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today. On this beautiful Tuesday, as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage, all right? And as always, I want to make sure that we start our day off by taking massive action, and that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, setting yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trade strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So let's get down to it. We got some things to cover this morning. If you can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get rocking. All right, beautiful. Got it, got it. All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to trading economics really quickly. All right. So up first, UK pay growth. At its lowest in 2 years. Regular pay in the UK, which excludes bonuses, rose to 5.4% year on year in 3 months to June quarter. The least since August of 2022, compared to a 5.8 rise in the previous period. Meanwhile, jobless rate declined to 4.2% from a 2.5-year top. Excuse me. From a 2.5-year top of 4.4% in the prior period and below consensus of 4.5%. So jobless rate slowing, right? It came down, which is so it's mixed data there, right? Jobless rate came down, but you had pay also come down. So, but still somewhat of a positive sign for the economy when it comes to the jobless rate. So, some mixed data there, but still getting some bullish action out of the pound this morning. German investor morale tumbles to 19.2 in August from 41.8 in July, the lowest in 7 months. Then you have Australian NAB Business Confidence Index dropped to 1 in July from a downwardly revised 3 in the previous month, which was the highest figure since January 2023. Meanwhile, business conditions strengthened just slightly below average as employment bounced back, while sales eased. Labor cost growth jumped to 2.5% in the quarter. Yeah, so just a couple statements. We were concerned about the sharp decline in the employment index, but it jumped back to above average, suggesting that robust jobs growth is continuing for now. The chief economist stated that. But we know, right, Australia has concerns about inflation still because, right, things are still elevated. So um, if you have jobs growth, you also have people that can spend more money. You have people that can spend more money, prices can still stay elevated, which is what the RBA is looking at. So we'll keep that in mind there. Yeah, so that's a quick overview there. I want to pop in and look at a couple other pieces here. So crude oil, WTI crude futures fell to around 79.6 per barrel on Tuesday, ending a 5-day win streak, driven by renewed focus on demand concerns. On Monday, OPEC revised its 2024 global demand growth forecast downward to 2.11 million barrels per day from the previous estimate of 2.25 million barrels per day, citing weaker data and a decline in Chinese demand. The 2025 world oil demand growth forecast also revised lower to 1.78 million from a 1.85. Additionally, OPEC Plus extends its production cuts until September, with a gradual phase out beginning in October. Meanwhile, markets continue to closely monitor Middle East conflict with an anticipated response from Iran against Israel believed to be imminent, rising concerns about regional oil supply. So this situation in the Middle East is heating back up again. So we could see not just impacts of oil, but potential moving back into somewhat of a risk-off environment. They are expecting a response. We come here to the Guardian. Iran rejects calls for restraint from European leaders as lacking political logic. Iran said it's a right of nations and a solution for stopping crimes and aggression. So this response is expected this week. So we could see things tick up in the Middle East region as this war moves forward. And even as early as today, you had another you had another teen killed in Palestine due to more raids by Israeli forces. So Israel is still pushing forward, and Iran is saying stop. So that's where they are there. So we could see things move back into a risk-off environment if that does continue to escalate. So we want to be aware there of what's happening and how that could impact the market. So watching our commodities, but also watching some of those risk-off currencies as well. So for today, 8:30, we got PPI data coming out for the United States. We got FOMC member Bostic speaking. And then tonight, you got official cash rate for the New Zealand dollar, right? So we'll see where Reserve Bank of New Zealand stands. expected to hold flat. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll see what the statement is afterwards for New Zealand. And then tomorrow you got CPI for the pound, you got PPI for the pound for the UK, blah, 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 flash GDP for the euro. Then you got core CPI data for the United States, right? So there's PPI data and the CPI data important when it comes to inflation for the US. So we'll get some data to see where things are. That could give us some insight on how things moving forward. Um, Also got crude oil inventories. Then you got statements from Governor Orr tomorrow afternoon. Multiple statements from Governor Orr tomorrow afternoon. Employment change and unemployment rate for the Aussie. And then industrial production and retail sales for China. Right. So somewhat of a busy middle of the week, right? GDP for the pound on Thursday. And we got core retail sales and unemployment claims for the dollar on Thursday as well. And Empire State Manufacturing, Philly Fed Manufacturing. Governor Bullock speaks Thursday night. Then you got retail sales for the pound on Friday. Okay, so somewhat of a busy week, got it scattered in, but most of it in the middle, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll see what type of reactions we get from the market. So that's what I got. Oh, it's not till next week, but Bank of Japan is scheduled to speak on interest rate decisions and things like that on the 23rd. So it's 10 days away, but folks are interested to see where they are and get some insight on the decisions that are being made there. So we'll see how that goes. But that's it from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions? Or do you guys have anything that you came across that you want to put on the table? No, no, no. All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts. We're gonna start off by looking at oil. Still on the rise, right? Benny talked about it this weekend, right? Pushing, pushing, pushing. Came off the lows here. At 70, what's that? 71.66, right? And we've been pushing up ever since, right? We're coming into a previous level of support here. Okay, previous resistance, previous support. So I want to see what happens in this area. Maybe we get a pullback. We do have the stochastic still pushing up, but um, getting close to that sell zone, right? Being overbought. So I want to watch for a pullback, and then potentially continuation here. Okay. Overall, this is the down fib sequence that we're in. Okay. But I'm looking for oil to continue to rise with everything that's happening around the world. Um, I definitely believe that we could see oil continue to push to the upside over the long term. So as we come down to the 4, this is where we are, right? Took the A out of that previous fib. Okay. Right. And if we get this pullback, right, we overextended, ran through the new capital fib D extension, waiting for a new a new fib to pop in here. But if we do get this pullback, it's a textbook crown pattern potential, right? Right tip, take out, take out the previous A, right? See if we get a pullback and then a continuation. Okay. So that's what I'm looking to see if that happens. But that also could not happen. Uh, this pullback could be a lot more shallow, depending on how things transpire. right, in the Middle East, but looking for a pullback and a continuation. Okay, so we'll watch that and see how that continues to develop there. We'll come down to the one, and I'll pull this off. And this is where we are, right? We got a fresh AB boundary. We'll see, do we get an 80-20 here, right? Another push up and then a pullback, or do we just get the retracement to come and then see if we get our continuation long? Okay. So, and here on the 1 hour, we got stochastic still pushing to the upside. Okay. So we could see this run a little bit further to the upside. 4 hour is overextended. So got back and forth there, but overall, that's the idea. Pullback and continuation, potentially. So let's watch and see how things develop here at this $80 a barrel. Okay. Questions on crude oil.
If price doesn't pull down all the way, look at your 30. If it play off a previous resistance.
This area here.
Where we at now, and then from that previous resistance to your left, that is
Oh,
bouncing off.
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that, right? That that completion of that right tip, I mean that left tip.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. I feel you on that. That definitely could be a possibility. Definitely could be a possibility there. Good call on that. Right. So she's saying a shallow retracement like this, and then a takeoff. So I feel that. I feel that for sure. Um, so let's watch and see, good people. Let's watch and see. That's what Joy sees right there. And that definitely could, right? It still put us in the 50% range on the fib, on the 30, right? But opportunity to continue to the upside. So let's watch this and see how this develops here. Okay. We could definitely see this continue moving long over the long term. So appreciate that, Joy. Any other thoughts or questions on oil? Nope. Nope. All right, and this has been a beautiful move off the low, right? That swing low formed, and we just took off. So now we'll see what happens here if we get a swing high to form and we pull back and then continue. All right. No questions on oil. Cool deal. Took a look at the dollar. Still sitting down here in the lows, right? We came down to this 10. Let's do this. That 102 level, right? And we've just been hovering sideways. Strong push up, got some indecision, and we're still been indecisive here. So we'll see what the data has to say come today and later on this week, and see if comes in hotter than expected and give a move back to the upside, or does it push back down? Okay. So watching the DXY right now, we're just moving sideways as we wait for data. As we wait for data to present itself. Okay. So running the fib off the high here. And that's where you are in 80-20. Okay. Nice push out of the zone. Now we're just moving sideways. A little bit of a pullback and see if we get a continuation to the upside here. Okay. We're already retesting this level at 103. 103.50. See if we're able to break that level and continue moving back to the upside. So watching that from that perspective there on the DXY. Okay. The NASDAQ, right? We're pushing back into the zone. This is the area that I had my eyes on after that strong move to the downside and those recession fears and all of that. So I'm still watching these levels here. Okay. We did break back above the cloud. This is on the 4-hour time frame. We are overbought. So I'm watching to see what happens here. And obviously what the data gives us to see if price does make a move back down and come back below the cloud. So I'm intrigued on what happens here. Previous support, does it serve as a zone of resistance there? Okay. Back on the daily, right? This was our swing low that formed. We pushed to the upside, and now we've just been stalling. Okay. Still got some potential momentum to the upside. So watching that also, because we could continue to move. So still pushing long, but looking to see if we get pullbacks of any sort, or data to suggest a stronger move to the downside here. Okay. And then down on the one, that's where we are on the 1-hour fib. So 1-hour fib suggests a little bit more movement to the upside to get to that D extension. So we'll watch and see what happens with the data and see how the market moves on the NASDAQ here. Okay. Questions on the NASDAQ? Oh, all right. Cool deal. S&P 500, that's where you're on the one, just shy of an 80-20, but let's bounce back to the daily real quick. And this is where we are in our retracement. We're just shy of this previous support level. Okay, that's previous support. So we're still pushing to the upside. Right, stochastic still moving up. So potentially a little bit more movement to the upside here, right? Pushing deeper into the cloud after the break. Pullback. We'll see how deep this goes. So looking at this and then thinking back to that NASDAQ, right, we could see price push a little further to the upside in the short term. And then we could be in for another move to the downside. So we'll continue watching that movement there. Here on the one, right, you see, on the 4, you see 618 retracement matching the extension in line with that 53,000 level, which is previous support, right? So we're pulling back now, but we could get a bounce and push higher. Okay. Push higher into this zone here. And then we'll look for a new AB boundary to form. Depending on the data, we could go there. Somewhere in that range. So we'll watch that and see what happens. See if we get that movement back to the upside here. Okay. Yeah, we'll watch that and see how that moves. That could be interesting. Yeah, let's see if we get to this D extension and retest this 53,000 level, 53,995. And then I'll be surprised if we get retracements from there. On the daily, Reese, I'm running that fib off the low here. You got a different one? You running a smaller wave? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you got yours running from, Reese, but let's see. $49.20. Got you. Um, Interesting. Where did you start your sequence at? Yeah, I don't have any that go that way outside of just running this one manually, which that makes sense. Right? That's the D extension. I got you. I got you. I got you. I see now. Right. This is the lowest point in between that AB boundary, so you had to draw this one manually. It didn't pop in. And that's your matching D extension there. That swing high. So 80-20, move back down. I got you. I got you. Yeah, I didn't draw one in manually. That's the difference there. Yeah, that's the difference. So that's the 80-20 that Reese is talking about there. Boom. Yep. Appreciate that. Um, so with that, right, this is a deep retracement. Trying to turn over to see what happens. So we'll just watch this and see how things develop from a fundamental perspective. Like I said, we could see stochastic still pushing to the upside, so we could see this continue to carry. Um, but it's how far does it carry, and then what changes from a fundamental perspective. Okay. Um, so we'll continue to watch that and see. We come down to the one, and you see we're just shy of the 80-20 scenario, right? Starting to get range bound a bit. Let me take this off. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There. Boom. Okay, so again, potential another push to the upside here. Stochastic is overbought here, but we could see price turnover push again to the upside into that zone, and maybe even a run to the D extension. So we'll watch and see that, but a little bit higher before we get a retracement. Okay, that's the S&P 500. Questions here? Okay. All right. Let's take a look at actually let's take a look at some of these New Zealands. Then I want to take a look at some of these pounds and see what they are. Because we got that cash rate coming up tonight. So New Zealand yen. This is where we are overall. AB boundary, we got a 786 retracement. We're pressing to the upside here. We know where things are with the Bank of Japan. Clean all this out. We know where things are with the Bank of Japan, right? Well, previous support there coming into resistance. So we'll watch and see. We got stochastic overbought, right? As we come into an area of resistance. So we'll see what that cash rate is, but we'll also see what's said in the statement. Okay. We could have a combination of things happen, but we'll see what happens at this almost $90, right? Right in that area there this evening. So come down to the 4. at minimum, we get a retracement, right? Now it's been a pretty strong move to the upside off that swing low. Okay. There's that swing, there's that reaction, swing low formed, and we've been pushing to the upside. Okay. So come down to the 4. Excuse me, running a fib to the upside in that direction, just shy of the D extension, which is also in the $89, $90 range. Right. So looking for price to retest that level, and then we'll see what happens. Okay. Come down to the 1, and you got your 80-20 here. Right. So I'm watching to see what the reaction is at this level and see if fundamentals align for a move back down to the downside, at least in a retracement fashion. Right. So after that data tonight, I want to see how price reacts. Okay. And see how this moves. And that would also keep in mind the Middle East, right? And potential for risk off at some point this week. Okay. So watching that type of action there on the one on the New Zealand yen. Questions? Nope. Okay. Actually, another push up into that zone before that move down. Okay. New Zealand dollar. You see, we're looking for that move, and ultimately, at some point, we got it. Retest that level, and then a takeoff. Go back to the daily. All right. So we're on the daily. At that swing low to form. We got another swing low to form, double bottom scenario, pushing to the upside. Okay, take that out. All right, boom, and we're running long. So could be in for more movement to the upside, but we do have our stochastic in the sell zone. So, all right, we're retesting previous support. 1 second. Retesting previous support. So we'll see how the market responds. Okay, this has been an interesting range here. The price has still been pushing down, right? Has still been pushing down, but still moving sideways across the screen. So we'll watch and see what happens there from a daily time frame perspective. Coming out to the 4, gonna run that fib off the low. That's where we are, right? So again, another scenario where we could see another push to the upside, and then we'll see what happens from there. On our 1, similar deal, right? Just shy of the D extension there, right? So looking for the D extension on the 4 hour and the 1 hour to be achieved, and then we'll see if we get a reverse. Then we'll see if we get a reversal. Okay. So we'll watch that closely there. Questions on New Zealand dollar? All right. Cool deal. Whoops. New Zealand CAD. We're pulling back, right? Clean this up. Overall, this is down, right? Range bound, yes, but we got a 786 retracement. It's been down. This is the pullback, right? So do we get, and we're over bought, right? Still pushing to the upside, but do we get price to turnover at some point, right? We're retesting previous levels of support, right? In this range here. Okay. So we'll see what happens here, right? Are we able to break above this 80, 82, 912, continue pushing long, or do we get a reversal? Do we get a reversal and continue this move to the downside? Okay. Down to the 4. And I'm going to run a fib off the high here. Sitting deep on the 4. Curious if we get a rejection off of this, out of this zone. I'm gonna watch this one closely here and look for a potential C to D move on this, right? Especially with the conflict in the Middle East. We'll see what that cash rate is tonight. If they have any sort of dovish tone, right? I'll be looking for this to kind of take off to the downside. Yeah. Let's watch this here for a C to D move. Yeah. Yep. That one is on my radar for a short opportunity. Let's go down to the 1. The extension achieved on the 1. Yeah, let's look out for this one. Come back down off that 4 hour. Let's watch that there. Potential C to D move there. Questions on the New Zealand CAD? No. Okay. And then New Zealand Swiss. Look out the A on the 4. But here we are on the daily. Here we are on the daily. Right, we got that swing low, pushing long. We are in overbought territory though. All right, pressing up against this 50, 52, 353 level of resistance here. Previous support served as resistance and then struggling there again. So again, we want to see, are we able to hold below this level? Okay. Coming out to the 4. We'll run the fib off the high, coming off the low. Potential 80-20 scenario here. Okay. Over bought on the daily. We get another push into the zone here and then get a swing high to form. Watch this as well. Right? We'll see what happens tonight, but do we get that type of action? That's on our 4. Okay, coming down to the 1. Also got an 80-20 scenario here, right? This one could, if it pushes up on that 4 to get into that 118, 127 zone, could get to the D extension on the 1. But got an 80-20 here on the 1 hour as well. Struggling to break through that level. So New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Swiss, right? And this would also support potential move back to risk off. Okay, so let's keep our eyes peeled here and see what happens throughout the day today. Right, we could be in for a move back down to the downside on these. Okay, questions on the New Zealand Swissy? Definitely keep these on your radar. No, all right. Aussie CAD. These have been some beautiful moves to the upside, right, off these swing lows. But you see, we're coming into a level of resistance here as well, right? You got, just like that New Zealand CAD, you got 2 commodity currencies, Aussie CAD, pushing into level of resistance. See what happens here, right? We could also see a reaction with the Aussie pairs with that New Zealand decision tonight. So let's watch and see what happens and see if we push up into that zone and get a pullback of some sort. Okay. Stochastic pushing into that sell zone. Okay, so not quite overbought yet, but we're getting close. So we'll see if we get a reaction there. Coming down to the 4. I'm gonna run the fib off the low here. And D extension is here. That's our 4-hour D extension. I missed that. What fib did I have running on this? Let's see what happens here. Maybe it pushes a little bit higher and gets to that 4-hour D extension. That could also give us a crown pattern there as well. Let's see what happens here. Maybe we do push a little bit deeper on this. Let's watch that and see. In this zone. Let's see. So that's there. Let's drop this down. Whoops. I think I did something wrong there. No, okay. I'm gonna bring this down. All right, so I ran that sub fib. That was the move there. That's our capital fib off the lows. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. All right. Going to be interesting to see how this develops. Do we get a continuation to the upside to get to the D extension, or do we get price to push here and then turn back over? It's going to be interesting to see. This is a zone that I'm watching, right? And to see how price moves once it gets there. Okay. Let's go to the 1. See on the 1, we're getting deeper in that zone, close to the D extension on the sub fib to the upside and close to that A boundary. Right. So we could take that A out if we push into this area, right, from the higher time frame. So let's be aware of that. Let's be aware of that. We got stochastic that's almost overbought. Still got some more upside to go. So that could push us into that zone. Then we'll see if we get a swing how to form there. Okay. If you've been long on this, continue to manage your trade, right? We'll watch and see how price moves. Okay. Continue to manage your trade to the upside until you get evidence that price is changing direction. So meet your rules. But that's where we are, right? So we'll see what happens as the week develops here. Okay, questions on the Aussie CAD? No. Okay, cool. Aussie Swiss, similar scenario, right? Stochastic pushing into that overbought territory. On the daily, we're deep in the zone. Don't have a swing high yet here, but we're retesting previous support. Okay, retesting previous support. So do we get some sort of action here? Down on the 4, deep retracement, retesting those levels. Could we get another move back down to the downside here? Definitely got my eyes on some of these. And then we get down to the 1, got some confluence, push to that 118 level there with the wick, pushing back up, retesting that zone. There's your 1 hour 80-20. Are we able to get a break of the cloud? And then a swing high to form on the daily. Strong reaction there. Do we get another strong reaction and a move back down? Okay.
Right, that was your
Mission
daily just now that just showed up.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just the pin bar caught my attention.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nice move back to the upside. We got some confluence on multiple time frames here, so let's watch this and see. Are we able to get price to turn over here? $105,500. Let's watch that. Let's watch that and see what happens here. That one might turn out nice. One second. Right. No questions on the Aussie Swiss. Cool deal. These yens. Beautiful moves back to the upside. All right. We got the swing lows to form. Boom. Pressing back long. Haven't come back to retest the support yet. but we're moving back to the upside. Could potentially move a little further, right? We did have another previous level of support that we are retesting right now, right? So we could push higher into the zone here. Okay. So this is another one that I'm watching closely. There's your AB boundary. We know what's happened overall, right? But is this a pullback for continuation short? So we'll watch and see what happens as it develops. But still long nonetheless. We come down to the 4. We're sitting at a 50% retracement level here, right? Do we get another push to the upside before coming back down? Okay. Again, we could get a reaction tonight, be it temporary, with that New Zealand statement, but we'll watch and see there. And then on the 1, right? We've just been riding the top of that cloud. We could get to that D extension still at 99. So we could have some more upward movement here before we get a move back down. But just watching it being overbought on the daily, right? Does a retracement come before a continuation? We'll see. Okay. Trying to get a swing low on the weekly as well. Right. We got this week and next week still, but strong reaction there with the pin bar, and we're moving back to the upside. Right. So overall, I do think that we get back to this area, right? 102. Right. My question is just, do we get a pullback before we continue moving up? Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. Some of these areas here. Do we get a pullback and a continuation on this? Right. And really, I should be no amount deep retracements on there, but I should be running this fib off the low. Boom. So the matching extension is there. So let's see what happens when we get there. That's on your 4. So nothing doing right now, just watching these as prices continue to push to the upside with the potential of risk off events coming soon. Okay. Questions on the Aussie yen? No? Okay, cool. I want to pop over and look at this pound Aussie. Crazy strong move to the downside, right? There's your swing high. Strong move down. We are oversold. Okay. Trying to get a swing low to form here. Previous resistance. Does it serve as future support? Right? You see all that action in this area. Does this hold as future support and give us a pushback long? Okay, so watching that there for potential swing low to form. We come down to the 4. We're hovering right at that B boundary. Okay, just pressing sideways. Do we get that pop back to the upside? Okay. Down on your 1, just ranging in that 118 area. We already pushed down into the zone, right? And we're just ranging sideways here. So tonight could give us a catalyst, right? In one direction or the other, be it a breakdown or push to the upside with that New Zealand statement. Okay. But trying to create that swing low on the 1, are we able to get a pop? I mean, that swing low on the daily, stochastic oversold, are we able to get a pop to the upside and get this move back long? Okay, so this one is definitely on my radar as well. Looking to see if we get that nice opportunity back to the upside. Could go further than this as well, but okay. Questions? Nope. All right. So Euro NZD. Let's see what's happening here. So pressing back down to the support level. Got it. Definitely oversold. Retesting previous resistance. Does this level hold for us? Ooh, this is interesting with that rate statement tonight. So here on the 4, right, we might end up taking out this A boundary on the 4. So we'll watch that close just to retest that support level. This is going to be interesting. You see how it's moving into the zone, right? Moving into this level of support just before that rate statement. So are we able to find a floor here and hold price? So as we come down to the 1, right, we're pushing into the 118 and 127 zone. We haven't gotten to that 382 yet. So do we get this? These New Zealanders are in interesting situations, man. Interesting situations. Definitely want to see what the decision is tonight, right? Even if this move is temporary. Yeah, I'm intrigued on this one. Definitely intrigued on this one. So let's watch this 80-20 here. And yeah, that A is probably going to get taken out. So let's watch this 80-20 on the 1 and see if this level holds. See if we get a double bottom here and a push back to the highs. Yep. Let's watch this. I'm curious here. Yes, I am. So let's watch this one also. I want to see it get to that support level though. Questions on the Euro NZD? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yes, I will, Joy. Yep, I will. All right. All right, good people. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? We're gonna wrap it up there. No. All right. You guys have a fun. Appreciate that. You guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. I'll get these posted. It's Aussie Swiss, that Euro New Zealand, that pound Aussie. And we'll see what happens tonight with that New Zealand range statement. Have a phenomenal day, everybody. We'll talk soon. Peace. You're welcome.